Hey YouTube, thank you so much for watching The Literary Lair. Today we're going to be discussing 3 of my 15-year-old son's book recommendations. Does he have good taste? I think that he's probably going to have some good choices in books. I haven't read the synopsis on these. I just asked him for 3 recommendations and he gave me these. He said some of them were critically acclaimed. He's read 2 of them and 1 of them he has not. So let's see what those are. He usually likes to read digital books. He has a Kindle and he also reads a lot of books just online. He likes to find the free digital books. Personally, I prefer physical books that I can write in and hold. It's just easier for me to retain the information and be more involved in the story that I'm reading if I can actually hold the book in hand. I really don't like digital or audiobooks, but he really likes digital. So 2 of these are going to be physical books and 1 of them is going to be a digital copy. Now the first one I have is No Longer Human, and this is by Osamu Dazai. So let's see what this is about. Osamu Dazai is No Longer Human. This leading post-war Japanese writer's second novel tells the poignant and fascinating story of a young man who is caught between the breakup of the traditions of a northern Japanese aristocratic family and the impact of Western ideas. In consequence, he feels himself disqualified from being human. A literal translation of the Japanese title. Okay. Okay, so that's not really telling me much. So this is kind of like going into it blind. But this is, let me see how many pages. Okay, it has about 180 pages. And based on the cover, I'm going to say that this might be a good read. I have no clue. So, yeah, I'm going to read this one first. And the second one is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And this is going to be the digital copy. Now, when I went to look for the physical copy, I didn't see any that was less than $100. They were like between $100 and $300. And I told him about it. I was like, hey, you should see how much these are worth. He was like, yeah, it's critically acclaimed. He's like, just get the free copy. So sadly, I'm going to have to read the digital version. Hopefully I can, get into the story. And I am going to just look up what it says online. So I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a post-apocalyptic science fiction short story by American writer Harlan Ellison. It was first published in March 1967, issue of If Worlds of Science Fiction. It won a Hugo Award in 1968, and the plot says it's a dystopian future. The Cold War has degenerated into a brutal world war between the United States, the Soviet Union, and China, who have each built an allied master computer, or AM, to manage their weapons and troops. One of the AMs eventually acquires self-awareness and, after assimilating the other 2 AMs, takes control of the conflict, giving way to a vast genocide operation that almost completely ends mankind. 109 years later, 4 men and 1 woman live in an endless underground complex created by AM, one of the only habitable places left on Earth. AM provides sustenance to keep them alive, but derives its only semblance of pleasure from torturing them. To prevent the humans from escaping its torment, AM has rendered them virtually immortal and unable to end their own lives. Wow, that sounds pretty good. I might actually want to get a physical copy, so I think I'm going to like this one. So that one again is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison. 2 out of 2. They both sound good so far. So let's check out the third one. And this is Blood Meridian, or The Evening Redness in the West. This is by Cormac McCarthy. And he told me that he hasn't read this one yet, but he did say viewer discretion is advised. So I am going to check the trigger warnings on this one to see why he said viewer discretion is advised, and he has not read it yet. He found out about it online when he was just looking up books to read, like critically acclaimed books to read. And let's see what this one is about. Blood Meridian is an epic novel of the violence and depravity that attended America's westward expansion, brilliantly subverting the conventions of the Western novel and the mythology of the Wild West. Based on historical events that took place on the Texas-Mexico border in the 1850s, it traces the fortunes of the kid, a 14-year-old Tennessean who stumbles into a nightmarish world where Indians are being murdered and the market for their scalps is thriving. Okay. All right. So I don't know about this one. We might be 2 out of 3 so far because I'm really not. I know I usually don't read things that are like based on the Wild West or Westerns, but I'm going to give it a try. This is something different for me. And I know my son's a thinker, a very intelligent young man. And if he recommended it, it's likely going to be a good book because he likely took his time to pick it out. So I have my 3 recommendations. And those are, again, No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. I don't know if I said that correctly, but I think that's how you pronounce it. We have I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. This one is by Harlan Ellison. And the third one is Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. I'm going to read these and I'm going to be doing a second video to let you all know how I felt about all 3 of the books and let you know if I think that my son has good reading taste. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.